Hey guys, Constance here from Cosmopolitan Cornbread. So I thought I would bring you out here with me as I go out to put SD cards back out into all my trail cameras. I have, periodically, people will ask me how many trail cameras we have out in the woods or on our property. And to be honest, that is not something that I share, because we use our trail cameras for a few things. Of course, we use them for the typical purpose of seeing what sorts of animals are coming around. But we also use them to keep an eye on our property and watch for two-legged things showing up. So it has definitely turned cold. You know, we have had a very, very mild autumn. We've had a couple cool days here and there, but for the most part, it has just been gorgeous. This is Alabama. Autumn usually lasts about a week here. It goes straight from insanely miserably hot to just a couple of days where you can open your windows and leave your windows open and not need any air or any heat or anything like that. And then, bam, you need the heat. Sometimes you need both the same day. That's just the way it is in the South. But this year, we actually went a good while without needing any sort of heat or air. It was lovely, and it made for a very pleasant electric bill this month, that's for certain. But it is definitely cold, and we have begun getting some hard freezes. We've had two very hard freezes the last 2 nights. I have things out in the front garden that are growing in the beds, cabbage plants, broccoli, things like that. And they're all covered with some row covers to help protect them. Those are fairly hardy plants, and here in northern Alabama, they can pretty much stay out there all year or all winter, and it's just fine. Now, I will be harvesting a couple things out there in the next couple of days. We have got some beautiful heads of broccoli out there that are just about ready to be harvested. So those, I'll harvest the heads of broccoli, and then the rest of the plant I'll just leave there because it will continue to grow. Sometimes they'll actually grow another little head of broccoli. But at the very least, there's the leaves, which are completely edible. You can shred those and all that. And also, I can feed them to my rabbits. We still have the 3 rabbits that live out there in the rabbit tractors. I don't breed them anymore. I used to breed them for meat. They're meat rabbits. The breed we have is American Blues, and it's a lovely breed. However, it does have, and I learned this later, and I learned this kind of the hard way, one of the downsides of the breed is that they will often struggle when it comes time to give birth. And unfortunately, that is a situation that I had. We had, originally when we got the rabbits, we had 2 females, breeding does, and then we had 1 male buck. And so that was our breeding stock. And we bred a few times. We had several batches of bunnies that we raised and harvested. And then one day I had one of them pass away in the process of giving birth. I went out there and it was heart-wrenching. And at that point I had only bred the one because we didn't need a ton of meat, and American Blues usually have pretty good sized litters, and so I had just bred the one. And then not long after that we actually had an incident where a predator from the woods out here tried to get into the rabbit tractors and tried to go after my buck. And the rabbit tractors, the way I designed them, they have a skirt of fencing that goes around them to keep animals from being able to dig in. They did the job. However, rabbits can literally be scared to death, and unfortunately that is what happened with our buck. So we had lost him, but at that point we were still wanting to keep rabbits for meat, still wanting to be able to breed them for that purpose. And I was able to locate someone in my general area who also had American Blue rabbits, and was able to get a new buck from them for breeding. And so I don't know, a few months later or so, I went ahead, bred them, and unfortunately, while the breeding took, that doe also had complications, and we lost her as well. You know, homesteading is a lot of work. It is a lot of effort, a lot of learning, a lot of research that takes place. Now, it is definitely worth it, but at times it is very difficult. And sometimes things just don't go the way you want them to. Sometimes the Mexican bean beetles demolish your bean plants, or sometimes you lose your breeding stock. Now, we do still have 3 rabbits that we had kept from our litters that we had, plus the buck, the breeder buck that I had purchased. However, I'm a little burnt on breeding them, and after losing 2 in a row like that, through the process of breeding, I don't want to risk it. At this point, we have 0 plans of breeding the rabbits again. Still have them. They're still producing compost for my garden, but at this point, they're pretty much just pets, and they're gonna live their lives out here at a Good Life farm. It's absolutely heartbreaking to lose animals like that. And yes, there's things that you raise for meat, and we are meat eaters. I have 0 problem raising animals for meat. However, when you have some bad experiences with one particular type, it makes you a little cautious about wanting to do that again. Rabbit meat is very healthy, it is delicious, it's very, very economical to raise rabbits for meat, but I just can't bring myself to do that again. Now, I will say that at some point down the road, one of the things that I would like to do is raise meat chickens. Now, when it comes to butchering chickens, I will say this. Yes, dispatching a chicken is hard to do. It tugs on the heart, and it is not done lightly. But the most difficult part, I think, of the entire process is when you scald the chickens so that you can pluck them. Because that scalding smells like burnt hair. That's awful. Yes. So I have decided that if we do end up going down that route and raising meat chickens, that I will first purchase a plucker just to make life easier I have one that I've been looking at that I've seen a lot of people using, has very good reviews, and so I think I will make that investment just to make the process easier. But raising meat chickens is something that I would like to begin doing. They know what time it is. It is treat time. So I'm going to head into the house, grab their treats, and then give them some attention. Franny, come here, baby. Don't eat my camera, Chan Chan. Oh. Hi, Chan Chan. Hi, baby. Look at this thick coat he's got. Look at that winter coat. Yoot yoot. Time to take the doggies for a walk. Let them burn off some energy.
They haven't been out in a while.
No. And it was raining for a couple of days. Everything was soaked and muddy. Then it got super, super cold. So things are dried out enough now that we can let them run for a little bit. So I've been very busy the last couple of days. Those of you who are new here, I write for a couple of publications in addition to my own website. And I had a deadline that came up. And so I've been working hard, writing articles, editing photos, and all of that. So everything got submitted this morning. And so now I can focus on some of the other things that I need to do. Such as the chicken fence. So the electric fence went up a few days ago. Chickens were not happy. we had a couple of them that kept getting out. They just fly over the fence. All whitings, because whitings are very flighty. And so we kept having to put them back in. But today they actually all stayed in except for one. But this time not a whiting, this time it was a blue-laced red Wyandotte. Now, the fencing that we have out there, it's not terribly tall. When we put in the permanent fencing, it'll be a little bit taller. So, and, hi baby! Hi, Yoot! So, it'll be a little bit taller, it won't be sagging in between posts, so should be better about keeping them all in. But yes, it's nice to be able to find the eggs and not have to go on scavenger hunts and try to find them. Alright, and with that, we are losing light. The sun is down back there behind the horizon. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video. Thanks for hanging out with me here at the homestead again. I will talk to y'all next time.